Select. Select.
Make the ground shake.
So welcome everybody to the stream. I'm the Boo, and with me today is Metas, aka Vince, who has the pleasure or also the duty to cast with me today. So how are you, Metas? Hello?
Pretty well. I'm doing pretty well, dude. I mean, you probably hear that I've got a bit of a cold going on after getting back from Stockholm. I've got like land death or whatever it is. But apart from that, I'm doing pretty well. So hopefully my voice is going to keep with me this evening. I'm going to be able to cast this awesome best of three. Of course, two fantastic teams. So I'm really looking forward to this one. How about yourself?
Yeah, definitely seeing TSM and EnVyUs last weekend was a thriller. Yeah, I think we will see 3 maps today. Actually, not last weekend, but you know, the 9 days ago. Let's put it like that. It's always so confusing.
Yeah, especially in the CS scene where you just get so many games. Sometimes it's hard to keep on track of when certain matches were. But needless to say, these two teams, EnVyUs and TSM, certainly in a lot of people's top 3, top 5, I would say, teams in the entire world. Where would you come down on this, W? Do you agree they're both top 3, or would you say there's other teams that maybe deserve to be ahead of them in the rankings?
Yeah, mouse sports. Just kidding, because I'm German. No, I think the top 4 they are all on the same level, and you can never really tell who is going to win the game. It's so close at the moment, and yeah, it's definitely hard to pick the right teams in Vulcan, the fantasy league. It is quite hard to to definitely tell like it was before when you said, yeah, Fnatic is outright dominant. Now teams start picking up on Fnatic, and it's getting harder and harder for all the skin boys.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. And obviously, when it comes to these two teams as well, there's so many individual performers. You mentioned about Vulcan before. If I was going to make my own team, I don't know who I'd go with here, man. Like, you've got to look at the likes of Cajun B. He's always capable of picking off some ridiculous frags. But then on EnVyUs as well, there's Happy obviously picked up that crazy Deagle ace not too long ago where Samler went insane. NBK's been performing pretty well, and you could say the same for Carrigan. Like, honestly, it's just insane in this game. 10 players who are all capable of just stepping up and wrecking house. So it should be a really enjoyable match.
Indeed. So let's keep talking about Vulcan. I don't know if you have used the site before, but if you haven't, it's definitely worth picking up because you're so involved in CSGO anyway. Why not try to make some bucks on the side, right?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's a lot of fun. I have done it a few times. At the time, though, I was kind of like doing troll picks, and then I did it for PGL as well, like one time, I think. And first time I sucked really bad because I didn't take into account that Nico was going to go insane for mouse sports. And then the second time I was like, yeah, I should probably go for Nico. And then suddenly, he performs again, and I'm looking a lot better. So it's a pretty cool thing to do, I would say, Vulcan. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's also a good thing to keep the people entertained, It might not be too interesting to watch all the teams when you're just looking at them. But if you've got something at stake, be it some artificial money or some points or whatever, it makes it so much more interesting on top of the also already interesting leagues and teams right now.
Yeah, I think the thing is when it comes to CS, especially when it comes to stuff like Vulcan, it's, as we said before, it's very difficult to decide like which team is going to perform on any set day, right? You can look at stats, you can look at previous results, you can try your best to come up with an idea of who's going to perform on the day. But one of the fantastic things about CS to me personally is that it is so difficult to predict. Like, you've got a general idea, you can give you predictions, but then if someone just goes massive in a game, it changes the entire dynamic of how it's going to play out. And that's the same thing as well for if someone really underperforms that maybe you thought was going to step up to the plate. So I think for today's matchup, Dabu, if we kind of go into predictions here, I know it's a really difficult one, but TSM versus EnVyUs, if you had to say who's going to win this best of 3, which way do you think you'd be coming down?
Yeah, I think I think that EnVyUs should take it, but you know, I really can't tell 100%. I will go for EnVyUs today.
I think that's a pretty fair shout. I would probably edge towards EnVyUs as well. Although, obviously, it depends on which maps we're going to be playing today. It depends if TSM shows up as well. Like, if they show up, they're ridiculously hard to beat. But yeah, I think I would edge ahead with you and agree. I think EnVyUs should have this on paper.
I thought, well, maybe he goes for TSM, so I go for EnVyUs, but didn't work out. Yeah, we have the maps, by the way. Cash will be the map pick of EnVyUs. After that, we will see Dust 2, chosen by TSM, and Mirage, the last map to eventually decide who is going to win the fair share of the prize money. $50,000 at stake in the complete prize pool. But we had, it's not really, it is distributed kind of weirdly, I have to say, but it's $23,750 for the winner of this tournament. I think it's just 20,000 euros, and that's why it's calculated that way.
Yeah, I mean, that's still a pretty large chunk of money to be taken away for an online tournament, by and large. So I think they'll be pretty happy with this. Also, the server I was on, I think, is emptying out. So I assume that they are going to get another server for ping issues. So it may be a little bit more delayed, guys. Apologies for this, but obviously it's kind of out of our hands. We are just waiting for a new IP. So it is Cash. Which other map? Sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
Dust 2, TSM, and Mirage.
Ooh, that's actually really nice for these two teams. I feel like they should go down to a third map.
Yeah, that's why I also said it, because I had the maps a tiny bit earlier than you had. So maybe it gave me the advantage to call who is going to win. But I think, yeah, Cash should be EnVyUs' map, Dust 2 should be TSM's map, and then we will see how it pans out on Mirage. That's at least what I think.
Yep, I would agree with you. The last two times these teams played on Cash, EnVyUs won both times. ESL Cologne, I believe, was 16-12, somewhere around that, and then before then was Gamescom, and EnVyUs actually won 16-3 then as well on Cash. So I think when we're doing Cash, yeah, EnVyUs definitely looking favourites. TSM, one, if not the best team on Dust 2 in the world, I think it's safe to say. So again, yeah, I think that should go 1-1. And then Mirage, that's a tough one, man. That's very tough to call.
Yeah, if I had to put my life on the game, I would probably try to shy away somehow, some way. There must be a way out of this, because there is no way to call that 100%. What are the odds, by the way, on the various sites that we all know and love so much?
On CSGO Lounge, it's 65% to EnVyUs, which I think is a lot more one-sided than I would give it credit for. I think this is more like a 45-55 kind of game. Let's look at HLTV quickly.
But I also think that the people have the same thought process that we have, and they will go for their own gut feeling instead of looking at the odds and saying, oh yeah, now TSM is down to 35%, maybe I should put my money on this side or this side, because they still think EnVyUs is going to win. So that's probably why the odds are at 65 to 35,
Yeah. I think, when it comes to betting sites, it's always quite skewed, I would say, in terms of people trying to play the percentages rather than the team that maybe they think is going to win. And this is one of those situations where I think for 35%, TSM are definitely worth a punt, because if they do win, you're going to get pretty much good bang for your buck, So I think overall 65-35 not necessarily fair. HLTV I think is a bit more even, 60-40 in favor of EnVyUs. I would say that's a bit more like what I would be thinking personally. But also, I mean, if you check EnVyUs' stats, we're talking about Cash being the first map. I think it's always massively important in the best of 3 to get the first map under your belt. And recently on Cash, they wrecked Fnatic 16-9 at Gfinity, and they also wrecked Virtus Pro at Gfinity on Cash. So these are two of the best teams in the world, and they just dismantled both of them. So again, I don't fancy TSM's chances on Cash. Just going to throw it out there.
Yeah, and just to top it off, not only was EnVyUs able to win against the top teams that you just mentioned, but TSM on the other side lost to those top teams as well. So, if B beats A and C beats B, it does mean that C beats A, right?
More often than not, yes, I definitely agree with that.
I mean, the logic was obviously meant to be taken in a sarcastic way.
Yeah.
But that's sometimes how people think, and sometimes also how it works. So it might not be the worst of the logics out there.
No, I can definitely see where you're coming from. Typically, if I will say that a lot of teams clash stylistically, and that can give certain teams advantages. But judging by the teams that have been mentioned, like VP, Fnatic, etc., I would say that if EnVyUs are kind of dumpstering them and TSM are losing to them on a map, I think it's a pretty safe bet to say that TSM are the heavy underdogs coming into Cash. Now, Dust 2 is kind of the complete role reversal. That's a map that TSM are absolute beasts on. Although I say that, a couple weeks ago or a week and a half ago, EnVyUs beat TSM at the DreamHack Open London 16-13 on Dust 2. But before then, TSM had pretty much been unbeaten for a while on Dust 2, like, you know, at the top level. So, interesting.
I think it might also be because EnVyUs had more time to work with the new lineup and to really shaping up those strategies and how they react to certain situations in the game. Maybe that's why they had the edge against TSM in that very match. Maybe TSM got surprised, and if you take a deeper look at this game, in my opinion, also it most often, if you start on the CT side on any given map, your chances are really high of taking it. Well, no rocket science there. But it also depends on how the teams convert that. So let's take a look who had the edge in the first half on that match. It was actually 6-9 in favor of EnVyUs on the terrorist side.
Yeah, Dust 2 is one of those strange maps as well that I feel like, although I definitely agree where you're coming from there, W, I think also on top of that, Dust 2 is the kind of map where a strong T side can absolutely smash. Like, they can get a bunch of rounds. It's similar to me, the likes of Mirage or a Cash. That T sides there's definitely rounds to be had. It's more the CT's job, I would say, to have a very solid defense, and if there's any gaping holes, typically you'll see terrorists jump on top of that, especially at the top level, these kind of teams that are involved today. So that's going to be a very, very interesting one. I think TSM coming into this game will have a point to prove on Dust 2, and I feel like they'll come out all guns blazing. But again, it's very dependent on if these key members show up. If they don't, then EnVyUs could definitely walk away with a 2-0 today, because I really can't see TSM taking Cash.
Me neither. And TSM really need every single team member, as you said, on point. Otherwise, you know, if you have 2 team members on point on a map like Cash, it's still not going to be enough, because they might be on the different side of the map, and as soon as that, the terrorists already captured A or B, and then they planted a bomb. They got themselves into good after-plant positions, and you have to save. So you need to have everyone on point today if you're rooting for Team Solo Mid.
Yes, sir. I agree. Do we have any information on the new IP, by the way?
It's the same relay as it was before.
Okay.
So we have 10 players on the server as well, so we might get ready. Okay, yeah, there is a call. The admin already impatiently telling us to join the game, and there we are in this very moment. TSM against EnVyUs. We already called that our money is on the Frenchman today. And I'm still not sure, though. My money is on them, but I would like to take it back at various different points in this game, I think.
Well, if EnVyUs have a shaky Cash, that's when things are going to get interesting, if they do. You can see here, I believe we're jumping into the knife round, obviously, to select which side will be which. Well, no, we're not, because Cajun just wrecked Kiyoshi right in the face. So I think we'll be jumping into the knife now. This isn't the most important of knife rounds, I'll say. Cash is a fairly even map. It's not heavily sided one way or another, in my opinion. Maybe slightly favouring towards the CTs, but it's not the end of the world if you lose this knife round.
Yeah, not necessarily. It depends on how your team is. You know, if your team knows that, okay, we have a really strong CT side, but on terrorist side, we always have some trouble here and there. We couldn't finish off rounds against this and that team. It might be in the heads of the players, and I think it would just give them some more comfort to start in this best of 3, I guess.
Yeah, settle the nerves a tiny bit, maybe start off well. What I will say about CS just in general is not necessarily how you start that counts, it's how you finish. You'll see a lot of teams will get close to the finish line, they'll start stumbling, or the other team will suddenly hit a patch of momentum and you know, get 5 or 6 rounds back to back. So I think both these teams are definitely capable of getting streaky performances on Cash. But yeah, again, EnVyUs coming in have to be the favourites on Cash. And, well, I think we're just about ready to jump in. I hope.
Yeah, this was definitely the ready call by both teams, and the knife is going to go live. Any sort of strategies you've seen lately in the knife rounds? Because we already mentioned it might not be the most important one on cash, but on train, for example, it's a lot more important than that. So are the teams getting more strategical about this?
That's kind of a tough question because I typically don't pay much attention to knife rounds, to be completely honest with you. I'm not a huge fan of them. I feel like typically teams are just going to run in, right? They're going to like line up against each other and just spray on in and to run straight for the forehead. So
just like they did just now.
Exactly. Yeah. The strength in numbers, as long as you can get around the back of the enemy and kind of have 3 players jumping around them, you should be able to pick up kills. But yeah, I mean the knife rounds came and gone. And we should be jumping into this shortly. So, Dabu, in terms of players to watch out for, I'm always a big fan of maybe highlighting a couple of players. Which are the 2 players on each side that you would be looking towards performing today and like maybe carrying their team somewhat to victory?
Well, for EnVyUs it should be Happy, or at least he was quite regularly. And for TSM, it's kind of mixed up a little bit. Sometimes Device, obviously, then it's Kerrigan again, and Sipnix, then it's Supri. I couldn't quite call it on TSM. I would let you call it for TSM.
TSM for me is Cajun B, I think. The guy is nuts when he's on form, and especially maps like Cash as well, where I feel it's plays to his strengths. That being said, though, we're on the pistol round, and it looks like EnVyUs will be rushing towards this B side. All on Dupree, there is some crossfire coming down. He's landed himself a headshot. Kerrigan just beforehand will pick himself up a second and a third. And just like that, TSM fend off the push and only lose Cajun B in the process.
Well, when the round started, I was like, okay, TSM don't really care about the B-bomb site, or at least it didn't seem like they had any plan to defend it. And they just let EnVyUs get into the site and then opened up on the crossfire. Really well played by Dupree, picking up the triple kill. And that definitely did a lot of work for TSM. EnVyUs was kind of caught in the middle there. And now they have to go with the Tech 9s and the ZZ75s.
Yep, that is a good point that you raised, that they've gone for this force in this round, trying to catch TSM off guard. The only issue is that TSM, if you look at that, 4 assault rifles, 1 P90, this is perfect tailor-made to fend off this eco, or should say force push. Device on forklift is going to spray down with a P90, that's going to leave Happy, nothing he can do. And TSM keep all their players alive and all those weapons alive. That's massive for their economy.
Yeah, they didn't save too much money by buying MP7s or UMPs or anything. They definitely pay the respect that EnVyUs demands to be paid and go for the 2 FAMASs, 2 M4s. Luckily for them, they didn't lose anything of that. So there is a lot of money building up already. If TSM can maintain that, it looks like a promising CT side to me, at least as of yet. We obviously have to see the first rifle round by EnVyUs, which they still have to wait a little longer for, and the unarmored targets are going to be light work for Device with the P90 there.
Yeah, very nicely done. He's got around the back of the terrorist as well with the Tech 9. He's just ripping faces off shoulders. He's looking for his 3rd frag. Let's switch to the P90, sprays down Happy. And that leaves Apex all by his lonesome. 1 versus 3. He's in the garage, will be pushing in. Flashbang, not quite connecting. With the M4, he could do damage from this point though, Dabu. I mean,
yeah, he definitely...
as well.
Yeah, he knows that Device is somewhere around. That's also why he's moving that slowly, checking every single angle that he could be exposed to. And the CTs have closed in already. They have surrounded him. He goes for the frag, but Cajun B has him covered. And Device with a quad kill received 99 damage, but didn't care about that. Great play by TSM. And well, Apex did have a chance to change the outcome of the round, but the CTs didn't really let him get this chance on the board.
Well, the thing is now that the EnVyUs are capable of picking up AKs with full smokes as well, so we are going to see a potential set play. Although they're fanning out to start off with, just waiting for the initial pushes, the initial charges. Here comes the boost into vents from TSM. This is solid. And it's going to go a long way to fend off the Frenchman for now. You can see the bombs dropped back towards the spawn. What I'm expecting to see happen here is to fan out. If they get an entry frag, they can then convert it onto the site. If not, we may very well see a set play onto A site.
Yeah, for now they're just checking and seeing if they can catch a CT off guard, which is not going to be the case, at least not yet, as smoke is still in play. Molotov will slow them down even further, and Device is now close by to A main. He gets it first, but didn't see the other one dropping right next to him. Apex makes it go back to a 4v4, and the terrorists have not yet captured middle. It's still KGB and Zipnix holding on to that. KGB with a double kill, making it a 1v4, and Happy is drawn out by Kerrigan. So the initial plan for EnVyUs didn't quite yield the result that they were looking for, and then they started pushing into middle.
Yeah, I think the problem there for EnVyUs is that they didn't get the entry, and then they end up almost committing to mid, and in doing so you're putting yourself in such a precarious position, because TSM had a perfect crossfire down. I mentioned this at the time, they got a boost into vents, which is massive, not just for getting frags but also information is vital, and this forces EnVyUs' hand now for this fast push. They've gone for the force buy. They can buy up next round probably with their round loss bonus anyway, but hold the fort because here comes MBK charging through with the CZ. He gets traded out. Kenny S on the drop for the Tech 9 will pick up Zipnex, and this is looking like a pretty good round for the Frenchman. The Molotov is going to force Apex off the side. He's going to eat a lot of damage, very nearly falls down. But now this retake for TSM is going to be pretty difficult to pull off.
Yeah, they've got the weaponry and still some equipment, and Dupree and KGB make the frags go their way as well. It's Kiyoshima and Happy, and Kiyo with the ZZ75 picks up one in the same time. Happy picks up one. Now it's down to Dupree with 2 HP up against Happy with the M4A4. He's looking for the frag. Happy will pick it up. Good round by EnVyUs to convert it to a 4-1, and Happy saves the AWP. That's basically the jackpot round for EnVyUs.
Absolutely, that is massive. They already had the round loss bonus coming in, even if they lose that round, but the fact they've won that and they managed to get the, I think it was an AWP that they pick up at the end, or at least an AK.
An AWP, yeah, it was an AWP.
Okay, an AWP, so that's huge for EnVyUs, right into MBK's hands, you can see here. And I think they may be looking to boost. Yes, they are. And the Molotov's going to force them out of position just for now. You hear the AWP shot ringing out through mid. Didn't connect anything from MBK, but this now gives EnVyUs a chance to bounce back on cash in the early stages.
Yeah, that save round upset is so scary for the CTs. Now they need to pick up a few frags to come back into this game. Or, well, not come back into this game, but, you know, to not allow EnVyUs to get back into the game. And at the moment, they have to hold clutch. They have a boost at the B bomb site, which leaves Device and Kerrigan alone in middle and A. And that could be some problem going into this execution that EnVyUs prepares, and it seems like they want to head through middle and possibly then get a B split going.
That definitely would be a smart play right now from EnVyUs. But you can see with this first play, it just forces the hand of the CTs to stack 2 on each side. This leaves mid very vulnerable. This is why we're seeing the T's push through the vents. Apex with a double, that's massive for EnVyUs. Again, it keeps the Danes 2 players behind, and the last 2 players are on the A side. They want to save this up. This is going to be a free round to EnVyUs now. And after a very shoddy start here, Dabby, they were 4-0 behind, and we were like, okay, this isn't looking too great. They have started to bounce back.
And that's exactly what we mentioned before. If TSM don't have everyone on point today, if EnVyUs slips through somewhere, they will capitalize on that. And if they are not stopped on those B executions by 2 players, it's, you know, the Frenchmen are by no means a weak team, and they will capitalize on that. That's just very well played by EnVyUs. Getting those potentially 4 rifles into the next round will kickstart their own economy as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, it's much easier to sustain a solid economy on the T side. It's just the nature of the terrorists. And on the flip side, the CTs are going to be struggling.
Yep.
And they have to go for the rebuys of the defuse kits, with the additional money, of course, that the incendiary grenades cost and such. So it's a bit of a sticky situation. You can see their economy here is not great. So they're going to just basically have an open and M4. The rest of their team is saving up here. So EnVy is looking good to get another round on the board. And it's important they don't make any mistakes and get caught.
Yeah, if they are too fast right now, they could definitely run into some trouble. But at the moment, they just spread out in middle. They get some information on A main. They hold passively onto the B outskirts. And Happy goes for that smoke spray. Now, he knows the Device is still around there somewhere. but he won't. Yeah, he just missed him as he was getting back into the bomb site. So the CTs got some information. They certainly have spotted Happy over there due to firing off the shots, but they don't have any information on middle, and that's why they rotate back into the B bomb site with Kerrigan helping out his teammate Dupree over there. And that's the right call to make right now. Cajun B has to hold on to middle.
This is very smart from EnVyUs though, realizing the chances are just 2 weapons in the hands of TSM. They're going for a standard push. They're not doing anything too crazy. Kerrigan on the site though is going to eat that grenade. He picks himself up the second frag, and he's still alive and kicking for a few more seconds before NBK puts him down. Still though, valiant attempt from TSM, but it is going to be very likely another round for the Frenchman. I say that. NBK just got picked off. The bomb has been planted. It's all on Zipnex right now with a USP in his hands.
Yeah, he needs to connect to the head and then another body shot without having armor himself. That is almost impossible. And Apex will finish him off, but 3 players killed on the terrorist side. That at least gives the CTs some relief, even though they would have hoped for a better outcome. At least they weren't just wiped on that round, so they could still work with some hope.
Yeah, they certainly can. So those of you asking, why is this caster sick? I just got back from Sweden, so I've got like a horrible cold going on, but I'm sure.
Didn't you bring your jacket?
Well, man, it was such a long week. It was crazy, but a lot of fun, a lot of awesome CS.
I know, yeah.
But just for those of you that are wondering, device has been tagged though. Actually got legged, I think that was very unfortunate from Kenny S. Through the smoke, but that is going to put device down low, and he has to back away. This is good crossfire down though. Kenny was not expecting the second player on lockers. This will leave Zipnex in a bit of a sticky situation. He tries to jump across. What a shot from Apex. He evens it back up.
Oh yeah, that headshot was sick by Apex. I thought Zipnex could just get through into the smoke, but Apex caught him just before that. So back to a 4v4 we go, and basically it's a 3.5 man against the 4 players from the Frenchman EnVyUs. Now Kerrigan is able to level that back, or well, actually get the man advantage in the CT's favor, and the terrorists will attack the A bomb site. 3 players come in there already. Kiyoshima takes down the first. Cajun B is able to equalize it, and now Cajun B with the second, making it a 1v3. Kiyoshima though holds us down. Another one. He's still got 25 seconds, and Cajun B will hold it together for TSM. Triple kill for him, and if he wasn't there, and that's once again coming back to the point we made at the very start of the game, if he hadn't been there, it would have been a sure EnVyUs round.
Yeah, that's massive for TSM as well, because it allows them to stabilize their economy somewhat. It's still not fantastic. They're still going to be on a FAMAS, no AWP, only 1 defuse kit, a bit of lack of grenades on Dupree, but this gives them a fighting chance now to start to build back into this round. You can see a couple CZs picked up for EnVyUs. They're walking straight in, and the first player in was the bomb carrier, which means the bomb now is in the middle of no man's land. This makes it so horrendous for EnVyUs. And then he gets sprayed down, and that's a key round for TSM for the reasons I just mentioned. Their economy was looking bad. The fact that they managed to pick up this round gives them more grenades, gives them more kits, gives them more equipment, and a real hope here to start building up more rounds on top of it. And whereas EnVyUs should be ecoing this round. Yes, yeah, they will be.
And even though the Frenchmen are known for getting those spy rounds, and they already showed it in this very match, I don't think their chances are too high right now. I think TSM has felt out how the terrorists click right now, and they should be able to hold on to this push against unarmored terrorists. And as I speak, Apex gets the first frag in middle, taking down Kerrigan with a nice headshot there. And if the terrorists just had the possibility to get their hands on that rifle, it could be very dangerous, especially with Kenny S on the armor and Apex as well. So maybe we have counted out EnVyUs a little bit too early.
Well, that's the thing on T's side. You can never count out teams of this caliber. Because if TSM just lose a couple rounds here, they're right back into the economic downturn that we were speaking about before. Oh, I thought Apex had a real chance of running that one thing. He did still do significant damage, but here comes the crossfire. Device off the site is just tapping away with the A4. Will get himself the frag, and EnVyUs, of course, in a pistol round here, effectively. Just want to take down as many CTs as possible. They could still get a bit of a moral victory in this round, if they can pick up another kill or two. I think that's still job done. And here comes Kenny S from behind. It's all on NBK. He's been spotted, and he should be fragged. There we go. Final device does put him down. 7-3.
But it was Device with the triple kill, and not only the triple kill, one way more important frag was to save Sipic's life in middle. Because otherwise, Apex would have gotten through to middle, he would have picked up an AK, there would have been another rifle, and suddenly EnVyUs would have had 2 rifles. Like that Device was able to pick off 2 players from A into middle and completely turn this round on its head. It was about to slide away from TSM. And now let's see how this one pans out. 2 orbs on Kenny S and Happy, each for one of them. And they will try to open up. But the first damage is dealt by an AK onto Kerrigan on the B bomb side, putting up some pressure over there already.
Indeed, it's all about the pressure and how you apply it and alleviate it from TSM's perspective right now. EnVyUs have double up set up. This means they want to go for the picks, of course, which is why you're seeing the bomb drop towards the T-spawn. That first pick, the entry, is everything to the Frenchman. If they have to execute on a site with 2 orbs, then this is going to get out of hand very quickly for them. The spray down from TSM should be more than up to the task. Again, you're seeing these positions as Device peeks and gets his head ripped off his shoulders from MBK. He did do damage on his way down, but that may not be enough. I was speaking before about how important it was for the entry. EnVyUs have got it. They've got a second as well. MBK just erupting into this round, and the Danes have to hold on for dear life. That's a good frag to bring back, but still they find themselves a player down.
Yeah, but look at the terrorist HP right now. The CTs, if they get a lucky lineup or a lucky spray, they could definitely end this round in a matter of seconds. But Apex coming in from behind. Now Dupree and Zipix with the frags. But Kenny S and Apex together win the round for EnVyUs. 2v1, or actually was a 3v2 that got turned into a 2v1 and then was clutched by EnVyUs. So TSM just can't get solid ground underneath their feet.
All off the back of a peek there. Device peeking out of vents. Gets himself fragged. Yes, he did damage, but in doing so, he gives up mid. I kind of prefer. I understand he wants to go for the information, but peeking out there, though, he gave the all the advantages to EnVyUs.
Yeah.
Oh,
not
TSM
only
have
the
gone for
information.
Force here, dude. Like, this is really sketchy now for the Danes. If they lose this round, they're going to be probably. It may even go back to even.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, probably. Now MBK, he missed that player behind him, but he didn't spot him either. It was Device pushing through the smoke. Now MBK and Kyo with the first frags for the terrorists, making it a 4v3. But Device is still around and he picks up a frag and the AK and another one. Now Apex in middle has to change it for EnVyUs.
Oh man, EnVyUs, they still have 2 players. They still probably have the weapon advantage when you look at the teams. There's only a deal in Dupree's hands. There's an AWP and an AK. Apex is coming up. Kenny S tries to spray, but he gets encircled. It's all on Apex, and there is Device on the toxic barrels to put him down with authority. A big round for TSM, but look at their economy. It's still not fantastic. They're still going to be skimping out on a few grenades and defuse kits here. And EnVyUs may even think about forcing up to try and catch the economy off guard. And that's exactly what they're doing. I can understand this play from EnVyUs. It looks dumb on paper, but they realize the economic situation of TSM. This is a solid call. And if they take down 2 or 3 players, that could be enough.
Yeah, this could be their 8-7 maybe. So they invest basically to win 2 rounds after this one, if they get this on the board. And BK is not looking like he could do too much. The AWP on a roll, getting their first frag and finishing off Dupree as well. 2v2, however, thanks to Zipix and Cajun B with the frags. Kenny S zaps out one more time and goes down. 2v1 coming up. Apex on the bomb site.
Only a deagle in his hands. That may be more than all he needs. Device with the headshot. Very nicely done. But I did say before that losing 3 players may not be good enough for TSM. That being said, though, EnVyUs, of course, now look at them. They're in another position where they have to think about, do we want to force? Do you want to just save? They're going for another force, dude. This is looking a bit better for the Danes now.
Yeah, hard times to call the buy rounds for EnVyUs right now. It's just, you know, if you don't buy, you might waste a chance to win 2 free rounds. And if you do buy, you might have to buy in the upcoming round as well. And then maybe in another one. But then the half would be ended already. But, you know, the theory kind of, to play your opponent's economy, it's always dangerous.
Yeah, it certainly is. You know, I can understand the high-risk, high-reward play there from EnVyUs, and they're still capable of pulling off crazy things with pistols. But unfortunately, this is going to put them going in at half-time, more than likely at least 10-5 behind, maybe even worse. Because again, they went for that force. The round loss is coming in, so they should have enough for a few AK-47s. There's going to be no open play for them, though, which means that Kenny S can't get those opening picks through mid on boost, these kind of situations. Now, it looks as though EnVyUs are going to have an MBK. He may even go for a Tech 9 and armor, or a Galil. Like, oh, he's gone for a scout. Okay, that's interesting.
Scout on the terrorist side. That's curious to see what he's about to do with that one.
The issue for me is the lack of grenades on EnVyUs. That's the main problem. I'm okay with the scout, but the fact is they only have 3 smokes and 4 flashbangs. That's really rough on a map like Cash. Like, no Molotovs, no HEs.
Yeah, it's gonna be a rough ride for them, and they definitely need to make it happen with the rifles, and they need to catch TSM off guard. But if the Danes should play it, and they already, well, they have 2 players up very close to middle, and that's, in my opinion, a play that could risk the round for them. They could just stay back and wait for EnVyUs to expose themselves, then get a quick and easy rotation in there, get the man advantage. And, well, at the moment it is EnVyUs putting up the pressure on the B bomb set again, and now they head into middle, getting another one and another one. Apex with the double. 5v2 right now.
Massive round for EnVyUs. Coming at 10-5, you win the pistol, you're right back in this game. They also have a fantastic CT half on Cash. So TSM going to be very, very desperate to pick up this round. It's still not over just yet. Molotov, couple diffuse kits in TSM's hand. The main issue, of course, is a 2 versus 5, and they're going to have to try and retake with an ult. There's the first shot, but he doesn't get it cleanly. So in that sense, it's not all great for TSM. Happy's just lurking around mid, waiting for the potential push so he can get through vents and cause even more of a pain in the backside to the Danes. And now it's all on the AWP up. It's all on Carrigan. Spots himself a second player, but he's losing health every time he picks up a kill. And there's the issue. There's just too much of a gauntlet to run through. And EnVyUs do finally get their 5th round. This pistol's massive for TSM.
Yeah, this could decide the outcome of this game right now. I always put a lot of emphasis on the pistols, even though the second round is just as important right now, and just as close as well as a pistol round can be. But yeah, I mean, even though Device picked up 17 frags, TSM couldn't get more than 10 rounds. 10 rounds is still not bad at all, but they would have liked to have 11, especially with those 4 spy rounds at the end.
Yeah. Against most teams, 10-5 is a fantastic half, but against EnVyUs' CT side, that still may not be good enough, which is why I highlighted the pistol round being so huge. That's going to kick things off nicely. Complete mid-control was lost from EnVyUs. They play a more passive retake A comp, but in doing so, they're being forced down. There's Zivex with a second kill as well. EnVyUs now, they're going to have to try and retake in a 5 versus 3 without a defuse kit.
They have to hurry up right now, but the Terrors have perfect positions already. They have Carrigan deep behind them to cover their backs. Everyone else is focused on the retaking CTs, and they will pick up the frags. KGB with the double, and now they will swarm in to take out Kenny S. So after getting themselves on track to the A-bomb side, TSM didn't lose control at all. Zipix with an unlikely frag against the guy at the red container there. But yeah, that guy could have turned the round around, in my opinion, but it just didn't happen.
Yeah, it was an awkward position for him, though. I think he tried to throw a smoke down to try and fend off the push and, you know, play some shenanigans and some mind games, but he just got chased down. That's the issue when you lose mid. It opens up highway, it opens up connector, and from a CT's perspective, that is pretty much hell to defend with. Again, you can see that EnVyUs can go for their force spy. There is known for not doing this over and over again. They're such strong pistolers. The issue is, though, that TSM are no scrubs when it comes to these kind of rounds. You can see Device just walk straight in, picks himself up a double, as his triple as well, and his 4th. He's on for the ace. It's all on Kiyoshima, who's about to be spotted, and there is the spray down. The ace in for TSM's Device, and a 7-round lead on top of it for them.
Yeah, now he sits at 23 kills and 17 rounds. Obviously, it was an anti-eco ace, but still, you have to hit those shots that he did in this round. So, just good performance by Device, topping off his already very good CT performance with a good terrorist-sided start. And now he picks up the confidence. He walks into middle again, trying to get an early frag for the terrorists.
The scary thing now for EnVyUs, even though I honestly thought they would walk away with this kind of victory, as this is a full eco because they went for the Force last round with Kevlar and upgraded pistols, so it's likely going to go the way of TSM, is that they're running out of opportunities to get back into this. I have no doubting that EnVyUs can come back from a 13-5
Oh, look at that. Look at Apex.
He's still on the site, yeah.
No, but I had to interrupt you there for a second. Sorry for that. But he was sitting right next to the bomb planter in behind the box at the very back of the B bomb site. It was, well, okay, sometimes you don't always check all the corners, but yeah.
Yeah, I think the issue for him is only had the P250, and it's so difficult to get more than one frag from that scenario. But this really is like one of the last chances EnVyUs are going to get on their CT half.
Yeah.
As good as their CT side is, if you lose this, you're in a force buy scenario, and you're pretty much 1 foot out of the map. This is a massive round, and TSM have just went straight through mid again.
Yeah, no resistance by EnVyUs. They are backing off from middle again, trying to set up a more defensive approach on that. MBK takes on the CT spawn alley and tries to get a deeper peek to cover the B bombs in some way, but there's not much to cover anymore. They are all through to the checkers already. Q with the first frag. Good nade there. Another one goes down to Q's M4A4, and Kenny S comes in as well as MBK, who's finally there with the rotation. 4 CTs on the bomb site. Device is alone, and the bomb has been dropped in the hands of the CTs. Keo with his triple kill, finishing off this round. EnVyUs just stay afloat, but yeah, their nose is still sticking out, but it's hard to breathe for them right now.
Well, when they lose that first player in mid, I'm thinking, oh god, like EnVyUs, this is looking so rough for them. We see the class rise towards the end there. Very solid beat, hold from EnVyUs towards the end. And now TSM, there is a pause in. I'm not entirely sure what this is all about.
It is a mic problem, it seems.
Okay, so issues with the microphone. So, yeah, hopefully this pause is going to get resolved pretty shortly. But EnVyUs, that round was massive. I said it at the start of the round. They hold on. They're still not out of the woods just yet. You know, TSM have enough funds to buy up this round, including an AWP as well. So they've got to repel this round. If they repel this round, TSM likely going to be on an eco or a force buy, and then EnVyUs can start to stabilize. So this is, again, right back into the furnace for the Frenchman.
Yeah. In theory, it should still be possible for TSM to grind out those 2 rounds by just, you know, having an individual like Device step up and get 2 opening frags, maybe even 3, and then just work on top of that. So let's see how strong EnVyUs can hold back on that one. Device and Zipix with the consecutive and almost simultaneous entry frags for the terrorists. Now they will get another one. EnVyUs is just, as soon as they try to get their foot in the door, it's just slammed and crushing their foot. KGB with the double while being flashed there. 14-6. There is not much to say about this round. It's just outright head shooting by the Danes.
Yeah, it's just carnage. You can pretty much throw every... This is why I said at the start I love CS, because every prediction you make, you can pretty much throw out the window. If on a certain day, people go massive. Device is 25-8. He's got so many entry frags. He's been an absolute monster today. And you can never factor that in from EnVyUs' perspective. They're on a force buy. They lose this round. They've effectively lost their choice of cash. And we've already spoke about how strong TSM are on Dust 2. Look at this from Apex, though. He's going around, picking up the headshot while flashbang through the smoke. Carrigan's going to be a bit butthurt over that one. The bomb has been dropped outside of main. This is going to give Happy a chance to spray down. There's the first frag from him. And here comes the cavalry as well. EnVyUs chasing onto the side. The bomb's still in a horrible place. And Happy, with the spray down, gives Envy another chance. And maybe there is another twist and turn yet in this fairy tale between these 2 teams.
Definitely seems like it, even though, well, Apex with that cheeky smoke kill, he kinda slowed down the terrorists on the A push somehow, and then it was Happy opening up from the squeaky door, completely stalled the terrorist movements. They couldn't really push any further than that. Flash grenades came in from the helping hands of his teammates, and then was Happy once again just holding up the French flag and saying, no, we won't surrender, not yet. And they are trying to get back into this game with a FAMAS still for NBK, but an AWP for Happy. And now let's see how this 4v4 pans out. The terrorists have gained some control over middle.
Oh, Apex. Just went walkies. I don't even understand why. Like, he had the information he required. Maybe the call came as a fast push, but in dying, that gives a real chance to TSM. That being said, bomb is going down. Device pushing through. There's the CZ, spins around, he's now got the AWP, and things have become very rough for Kenny S. There is a 1-for-1 trade in the meanwhile, though. Here comes the flash and the smoke from Kenny S. He's going to push through the smoke, turns around, gets the headshot, and we'll get the ace as well. And I believe we'll pick up an AWP after this. EnVyUs, again, by the skin of their teeth, just about hold on. Okay.
What a round.
Oh, no, Kenny! He dropped his weapon to pick up the AWP, and he got nothing.
That was device.
So awkward.
Yeah, I mean, he picked up the ZZ kill at the forklift, then picked up the AWP and carried it back to the bomb site, and that kind of threw Kenny S off there. But still, great play by Kenny S to use the fake defuse, stick it for a second, and then he reconsidered and said, well, I still have the flash grenade, I could use this, and then it kind of fell into place for him. Now Apex makes the terrorists fall into place as well on middle main. And a 2v5 now in an anti-eco Carrigan, though, picking up that frag onto Apex. Draws it back to a one-man advantage. You know, it's Kia just mopping up those frags. Yeah, EnVyUs is back on track.
They certainly are. That was effectively an eco, a throwaway round for TSM, but still, to lock it down with that ease is going to build the Frenchman's confidence up. That was a nasty kill, though, from Carrigan. That was insane what he just pulled off with a Tech 9 up into the vents.
Yeah.
Still, a double-up setup is in play. This is going to give TSM a bit of a disadvantage if they go for a pit game, but they've got full AK-47s, so I think they're going to play accordingly. Look at Apex again, goes straight through. Has he heard the footsteps of that T going through mid? This could be massive. I don't think so. Because if he calls that mid's clear, that allows Carrigan to come up and get frags. That's massive for TSM.
That was, well, it looked like it was very well played by Apex, but it backfired in a way, because the terrorist was going for the exact same play, and they miss each other, but it's more viable for the CT to know where the terrorist is than for the terrorist to know where the CT is, and Apex wasn't close enough to get a backstep going, so it was basically lost at that point.
That was so massive. You can see at the end there, the frags just came flying in left, right, and center. Now EnVyUs have to go for this force. Again, it's Apex, an identical play, and this time he's going to get his man. This is massive. He goes right for the juggler. He doesn't back off. He realizes his team have the gun disadvantage. This is very smart from him. Even though he goes down, I like that decision. Typically, you don't want to do that from a CP perspective. But Cajun B comes in, lands himself the headshot. 3-on-2, 3-on-1 now, all on MBK with the CZ.
Yeah, and there is a maybe complete conversion by TSM, getting to match point and then winning the round straight after that. If NBK can't come up big for his team, coming in from checkers right now. The bomb just has been planted, so he still has quite some time, even though he doesn't have the defuse kit. He could still make it if he finds the frags, but the terrorists are just playing with him, going for the peaks at various different angles and then changing them again, so he has to look quite long to find those frags, and he will pick up one, but now they know that he's inside and they will encircle him in a second. Carrigan is there, picking up the 16-9 in favor of TSM, winning the map pick of EnVyUs. And we will head to the second map, which is Dust 2. In a matter of minutes, we will give the team some time to relax, because they obviously have to focus as well as possible. $23,000 at stake in this game. The loser will not go home empty-handed, though. They will receive 10,000 and something. It is 10,750,000. So still some money even for the loser, but what do you think about the second map now?
Well, it's TSM's choice of map. It's Dust 2. I think on paper, you've got to favour TSM now, right? After dismantling EnVyUs, who are one of the best teams in the world on cash, the way they just did, the manner in which they did, and a couple of huge individual performances gave EnVyUs a couple more rounds. Like another day, that's a 16-6, 16-7 map. That's a battering. So throughout the Dust, I think TSM are heavy favourites now. They should be taking this 2-0.
But if we apply troll logic, wouldn't it be, okay, TSM wins EnVyUs' map pick, so now EnVyUs wins TSM's map pick?
Well, that's the thing. At this level of the game, like, you never quite know, right? Like, maybe TSM just, they derp a tiny bit, EnVyUs step it up, they get a kick up the backside that they need, and suddenly they come out swinging again. But I honestly feel that TSM should be the stronger team coming into Dust 2, the way they just performed.
Yeah.
Pistol round is going to be massive, though, regardless of which team starts which side. I think that's going to start things off.
Yeah, and that's a cool thing about us too as well, because it's not only that you can't say which team will win a best of 3 series, but it's really hard to say the same about us too. It's just so CT and terror-sided depending on the teams that you can't really call, oh, well, they got a 9-7 on the CT side, now they are surely going to win. Or they got a 9-7 on the terrorist side, and then they surely going to win. Because it could just swing back so quickly on this too. It just depends on how you control middle and how you feel out the opponent, how you go for the information, find out where they're going to go, and then disrupt that play. I think that's a huge thing about this too, to get information and then also rotate on top of that.
Well, the thing is, between these two teams, I think it's even more difficult to predict the way it's going to come down, because these two are so evenly matched, and I feel like both are quite momentum-based teams in the respect, if they're feeling good, typically they'll play very well as well. The way that Cash went was very surprising to me. EnVyUs gave up mid-control time and time again on the CT side, but it was a 10-5 scoreline, right? And they lost the pistols. You can't necessarily look at that. Maybe some desperation plays were coming into fruition. We saw a couple pop flashes through main on A, which didn't work out. TSM device was just ridiculous. Like, he dropped, 25 for 8, I think, with a few rounds to go. You can't factor that in. That being said, though, on Dust 2, if a couple players go off kilter, this definitely could switch back around in EnVyUs' favor. There's no doubting that. I just feel like EnVyUs, TSM, and Fnatic, like the top 3 teams in my money, very difficult to determine which of those teams are win on a separate day when they play each other, because they're so evenly matched. After that, I think it's a bit easier.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I had a small problem here. Some random advertisement managed to play itself, which kind of threw me off for a second. But yeah, well, Dust 2 is one of my favorite maps in the first place, so I'm really looking forward to this one. And I hope that you are doing the same, because we will go for a very small break, and then we are back with the second map. It is TSM against EnVyUs. The score is 1-0 in favor of TSM. And we go silent for a second, and you can enjoy the sound of some music. In the meantime, we will give our voices a small break. You can hear that Midas is still a little bit sick from Stockholm, and he can maybe tell us some more about that later on. So we are back from the break. Welcome back, everybody. TSM and EnVyUs in the CounterPit League Grand Final, presented to you by Midas, who is with me. And
hello.
Yeah, there you are. And obviously, TeamSpeak ping is delaying it a little bit, but yeah. And me myself, I'm Dabu. So welcome, Midas. You've already told me that you are a little bit sick from Stockholm. How was your trip?
Trip was awesome, although one of the flights I thought we were going to crash. I'm not the best flyer in the world. I'm quite a nervous flyer, but when you take off and the pilot's like, yeah, sorry for the delay, guys. One of our engines had a fault and we had to fix it. And telling me that when we were, in the air, that's not great for me to hear, I'm not going to lie.
We just had to change a pipe or two.
Yeah, that's kind of like, I'm already nervous and now I'm bricking myself. Thanks a lot, pilot. I really appreciate it.
Okay, so how was the rest?
Say again, sorry, I didn't quite catch you.
How was the rest of the trip?
The rest of the trip was fine.
We are actually going for the knife round already, so this has been the break for the teams already. I think they are so eager to get this underway that I couldn't even switch on my sound. There we are. So, knife round is live. I hope you're on the server as well.
Yes, sir.
Or is this pistol already?
It looks like it's the pistol. Yep.
Yeah, it is the pistol. So they are kicking it off straight away. And already the first trades in the first 15 seconds of the pistol round. What do you take from that?
Definitely will favour EnVyUs. A 1-for-1 trade, any stage on Dust 2 is going to favour the terrorists. This forces the hand of TSM again to stack 2 players on either side. This gives up mid control completely to EnVyUs, allows them to push through connector and long, and it's going to take some huge frags. That's exactly what Device has pulled off. Zipix in an interesting position, lands himself a headshot as well. What a fantastic hold so far for TSM. They're going to lose players. Here comes the strength in numbers approach. MBK with a headshot. He's been taken down. Now it's on Kiyoshima in a 1 versus 2.
Yeah, and he has already been spotted, obviously, and the CTs just try to hold him away from the A-bomb, so which is successful as well. So on top of losing the pistol, they didn't even get the bomb plan, and this will hurt them a lot, especially as, EnVyUs likes to go for the Tech 9s and armor buys. They like the Deagle as well. They will still go for the Deagles, 4 of them to be exact, but they lack. Well, they even go for the armor as well, so they are doing the force buy anyway. And with the bomb plant, however, they could have afforded some more grenades and stuff like that and put a big pressure on the CTs. Like that, they are going for the, normal second round. We didn't plant the bomb buy, and they tried to execute on A short. The CTs have 3 players over at A, so they should be able to handle it without too many lost players.
That is a solid counter-pushing smoke there, just purely off timing. Device has moved his way up mid with the P90. That's big as well. It's going to keep one of the terrorists watching the back because they can't afford to be pushed on round there. And TSM just stacking in CT spawn. Device with another 2 frags with his P90. Leaves happy in a clutch scenario with a Deagle. Can history repeat itself? Can he go for the Deagle ace?
Well, he still has 100 HP and armor, so everything's working for him. Oh, there is the first. I couldn't believe it. I mean, if somebody told me that, well, let's see how many more he can pick off. It's actually only this one guy, but to be honest, this looked like a small anti-strat by TSM. They had 2 players in CT spawn just waiting for the drop.
Yeah, I think the play was definitely given away when Device, I think it was, with the P90, saw 2 players boosting each other on catwalk. At that point, EnVyUs have gone for the force buy. They're pretty much stacking all their eggs in that basket of pushing onto the A site, and you can pretty much deduce from that the push is imminent. And this is fairly standard strat as well from a T's point of view in these kind of rounds. So there's Device, and this is an eco for the EnVyUs, so they can buy up next round. They're going to be pushing MP9 coming into effect from Carrigan. Did eat a bit of damage. He has to fall back, relocate. In doing so, Cajun B comes up to help his teammate out. The bomb's been dropped. There's the Kobe grenade landing next to Kiyoshima. And this round will be falling out the way once more. And the Danes starting off very well with a 3-0 scoreline.
Yeah, and once again, not too many players lost in the previous round. So their money is looking quite nice. 5k still on Device. I don't think he's going to buy anything else. And 4k, 4.7 for Zipix. And 1 more player. So good economy for the CTs, but they have two P90s still in the lineup, so they need to utilize them in the best possible way. And Kerrigan is taking refuge in pit right now, just waiting for the terrorists to make the push happen. EnVyUs on the other side have an AWP, but no armor on KennyS. So if the P90s and the AWP clash, this could be quite horrible for EnVyUs. But KennyS is probably going to stay in the back lines for now.
Definitely. You can see where the two P90s are being used as well. Close angles around corners. The best place for a P90. Oh, Kiyashima! Guessing that Cajun B, or at least the TSM player, would have been there with the premature spray, will pick up the frag. Carrigan, though, with the P90 chases onto the site, gets the return kill. He will go down, however, and this is looking a lot better for EnVyUs. They're stacking on the site right now. The retake scenario coming in. It's a 3-on-4. And Slimming have a chance, but I think they may very well just save their weapons. There's no point throwing these away. The chance of you clutching this are so small. Save those weapons, build the economy, come back stronger next round.
Yes, and that's the plan. Even though one of them is only a P90, Dupree has a lot of equipment still on him, the flash grenade, the defuse, and also the armor. So TSM tries to reset everything and goes for the 5th round, and they will give this one up. EnVyUs will not hunt the frags. Their own economy is not too great yet, so they are feeling good about saving 2 AWPs and 2. Well, Dupree was looking for an exit frag, but it's not going to go his way. 3-1 the scoreline right now. TSM with the double AWP setup, straight up against 2 other AWPs out of Compton. Let's see what they can do against each other.
Yeah, this is one of the few maps where this is a viable strat for both teams. Is an AWPer's playground, and especially when you consider the caliber of AWPing on display between these two teams, this could be a very, very tasty to behold. You can see though from the positions of the AWPers, Device is going to be using his on B side. Cajun B, meanwhile, is on catwalk looking for the frag, and a drop down, move on to his car, which is pretty much what he's known and scared and revered for doing with. And in doing so, that's going to force the hand somewhat of EnVyUs, throwing down their smokes, trying to fake this site onto B. It's going to keep 2 of the CTs interested, but the fact they got that opening pick, this means it's completely fine for TSM to just hold where they are, and all the pressure is still on EnVyUs.
Yeah, they just need to push and hope the best, and hope that they will hit those shots. Otherwise, EnVyUs will lose this round right now. If they just walk into the A-bomb site, they have still 2 smokes, but it's not really enough to block them off. Now KGB comes in with 1 frag. He gets caught by NBK. He should have had some support from the CT spawn player, but Zipnix doesn't have any nades to support him with. So maybe they could have just traded a few players around there. Dupree coming in with the P90, and he will shoot Happy in the face. This is a 2v4 right now in favor of the CTs, and both terrorists are still on A platform. They are basically caught up there already. KennyS with a double kill, but Zipix closes him out, and he was standing still there for a second. That confused me a little bit.
I think he may have timed. I think MBK may have timed out there. I'm not entirely sure, but he was the player that was behind the box and he didn't move. Yeah,
he was checking A long, or about to check A long, and then he just stood still.
Maybe just a brief bit of lag, or I'm not sure, maybe miscommunication, but either way, he does fall down. He's going to buy back up. Worrying thing here is that Apex is 005. He's on for his James Bond, and he's a player that was performing pretty solid on Cash, and a player that I think EnVyUs definitely rely on to perform. So yeah, this is not a good time for him to be dropping this score. He needs to start stepping things up.
Yeah, but on the other side, the Tech-9 is not the perfect weapon to step up that score. He has to rely on MBK and Happy to make things go EnVyUs' way. But at the moment, it is just Cajun B handling middle quite perfectly. Now going for the B rotation, leaves Device another AWP. So it's really handy for them to have 2 AWPs. And well, one of them will go down to MBK now. He is definitely doing some work right now for EnVyUs, shifting the balance of the map over to the B bomb site, making Device rotate in there as well. And if the terrorists make that go, they could catch them off guard. MBK is really deep inside the bomb site already. Device will still get the frag. Dupree with another one, and Device just keeps wrecking house on the terrorists. And Happy is coming in from behind, but Device just swiftly turns around, makes it 5-1. What a shot onto the B bomb site there.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah, MBK calls it as well. Really? Oh my god.
Oh my god, Device. I have a man crush right now. This guy's been ridiculous in this best of 3 thus far. Cash, he dropped just shy of a 30 bomb. That play with the AWP was just spectacular. And it's going to force EnVyUs into this fast push. The Deagle not connecting. Dupree's still alive. He goes back in. That's a mistake. Why would you jump back up with 14 HP? MBK on 1 health. He's pretty much given free reign to go in on this HP because the chances are he's going to die anyway. And if he can get a second frag, brilliant. He did get a bit of information. Cajun B picks him off. But the bomb is by itself on the B site for Apex. If he dies there, this is going to go horrendously wrong. Does he even realise he's got the bomb? What a shot that is. He's looking for a second as well. He gets picked off. And in doing so now, TSM should put their foot to the throat of EnVyUs.
Yeah, but that was really close for comfort. Zipix is down to 3 HP as well. He almost went down there. Now Device is in the backside, is on the B platform with the AWP. He should get some ease into the minds of his teammates. You know, we've got the big gun in position right now, and Kerrigan will hold on to middle, so everything's settled right now. TSM had a shaky start into this round, but thankfully 2 Zipix with a double kill. They came back and made it 6-1.
Man, I'm still shaking. I'm still getting my nerdgasms on from that Device play a couple rounds ago.
Apex wasn't bad either, man. That was just, you know, when you're trying to calm down and then something strikes you again. It's just insane play there.
That stopped him from getting his 007 as well, so it's got to feel doubly good, I suppose, in that sense. But you can see now 3 long-range weapons come to fruition for TSM, including an auto sniper. Again, it's one of those maps that's definitely viable. I'd say Train is another one on the CT side. We can make this work. And in doing so, all the pressure again stacks on EnVyUs. Ahead has been spotted. A Device again. This time landing his 11th frag, and he's hungry for more. That grenade does significant damage to Apex. Slows him down. Still gets the frag, though.
And a nice trade back.
Yeah, very good trade for EnVyUs.
Yeah, I mean, the terrorists still go for that double AWP setup as well. So we had 5 scopes. Yeah, my math skills are really bad. We had 5 scopes and 10 players. What are the odds of that happening? But those 2 teams can pull it off, most definitely. And Apex pulled off a very much needed entry frag in the middle for the terrorists. Now they are going for, but he messes up that flash. Still doesn't hold off Kiyoshima from opening up the A bomb site. He goes for another one and picks it up as well. Good spray control onto Cajun B. And Dupree and Zipix will save those 2 guns. There's no real benefit in risking them anymore.
Yeah, the key frag there really was Apex, I feel. It opens up mid. It stops the Device Train from continuing to just plow through everything, and in doing so it gives EnVyUs this plant. So that's a huge frag for him. So it's an impact kill at least that he has picked up for himself, which is worth more than probably just the 1 kill. But regardless, it's going to be a bit of a rough end to this round for EnVyUs. I think they wanted to take these weapons away from TSM, realizing there's a lot of equipment. And you can see just how much equipment's in their hands. Even though TSM have a player less, they still have more value in terms of equipment. By, well, just about the same, I should say, with the auto sniper and the AWP. So these are 2 huge weapons to save, and they are going to be able to do just that. So
yeah, and Happy once again didn't have any armor in the previous round, so they are going for the bare metal AWP quite a lot right now, at least EnVyUs. And well, it didn't pay off in the previous round, but they're just trying to work out a way. Once again, double AWP by the Frenchman. And right now, Happy is looking into the B bomb side, looking for that angle that Apex, no, it was MBK, picked off one of the CTs, but they are on the receiving end right now. Device with a spray through the smoke, shutting down NBK on the early movements on the terrorist side, and they will swing back into middle, trying to work another default, because this one just didn't work out. Apex is in middle, and he once again had a very good timing there, just slipping through the CT's fingers. I think they are aware of his presence, though, judging by their positions. But he still will keep the CTs from rotating too early.
Huge pop flash, and Apex caught between a rock and a hard place. And to be fair, he died while his screen was still completely white. Could not see anything. Cajun B, not huge surprises where he's currently sat with the AWP. And there we go. Going to pick himself up another frag. You pretty much know he's always going to be there. It's just so hard to keep him out of that position. It's why you have a lot of long focus control from TSM, because they play so heavily on Cajun B's position. That being said, EnVyUs only have Kenny X not for too much longer, and it's back to business as usual for TSM. 7-2 now And EnVyUs, their economy is absolutely in tatters. I apologize for leaving you hanging before, dude. Having this cold really sucks. I had to get myself another drink.
Don't worry, don't worry. Well, 12 frags for Device, 11 for KGB, so the orbs are doing the work for TSM right now. And it's also something that you just mentioned with the long control. EnVyUs is not going for any long contestants at all. They are completely giving it up to TSM. They know we don't have anything to say on that part of the map. Let's try short, let's try middle and B a little bit. And now they're running out of options. We are 9 rounds in. They have to try long at one point. And well, I was thinking that they might try this time around, but not with pistols. So they will go for another A short execution. Happy will stay back with the Deagle just to get an ambush frag, but it's not going to happen. Zipix with the first one on Tikio. The terrorist just had to move through the flames, and in the fire they went. Apex goes down, so is Kenny S. It is a 1v5. Happy with the Deagle. Can he do it? They give him plenty of chances to get another Deagle ace there.
I tell you what, the utility usage in this game from TSM and Deagle Cash has been on point. Their grenades, their flashes have been amazing. So often EnVyUs try and push in and they'll just eat like 3 flashes to the forehead. And they can't see anything. Plus on top of that Molotovs and HEs. Ridiculous. And now EnVyUs, again, look at their economy. It's not really recovering. They're constantly going for these kind of semi-buys with Deagles and armor here and there. Eventually they're going to have to bite the bullet, and it seems this is the round when that's going to be the case. So you're looking at TSM to take a 7-round lead and already have 9 rounds on the board.
Yep, and EnVyUs is, they can't benefit from the loser bonus. They keep losing 3 in a row, then they win 1, then they lose 3 in a row. Now this is going to be their 3rd in a row. Maybe they will win the upcoming rifle round after this one. But I think TSM have built up so much space to move around, you know, space in the sense of they have that massive lead. They can afford to give away a round or 2 to maybe get some aggressive pushes in there somewhere. Just to throw EnVyUs off and not let them figure out how the CT click. This could be maybe the game plan for TSM right now. And on the other side, I already mentioned that EnVyUs have to change something. They keep trying the same things, and this time around they will go for at least a long peek by Kenny S, and they will gain control of that. But at the same time, Kerrigan comes in with the aggressive move into middle. He didn't spot anyone yet, but he might spot one. He goes to work onto Keo, but then goes down to Apex. Important refrag for the terrorists. Now the CTs have gained some information. They will try to shut middle up.
Typically, I wouldn't like that play, just sending one guy off by himself, but they have 4 long-range weapons on the battlefield, and 3 of them are being used right now. So that allows them to get the picks even after the initial trade, which is what we're seeing right here, right now. So I like that actually from Kerrigan. Yes, he dies, he gets 1-for-1 trade. It typically is not a good trade-off for the CTs, but judging from the actual position right now on the battlefield, that's solid. And you can see afterwards, EnVyUs tried to push in, they tried to fill in the gaps, they just get sprayed down. They can't do anything. This is a fantastic CT half for TSM. One of the best I've seen in a long time on Dust 2.
Yeah, they are Danish. That's all I have to say about this. The Danes notoriously known for being good on the CT sides, and EnVyUs can't break through. Sometimes their timing seems to be off as well, because they push 1 by 1 by 1, and this is also due to something that you mentioned. TSM's timing on the grenades is perfect right now. Once again, they show us, as we speak, Molotov usage, slowing down the terrorist push. Device has the AWP ready to go for the peak. He will pick off the first, and now he's in some trouble.
Very smart. Very, very smart to relocate. He knew that Dupree was at the back of the site with the auto sniper. That's effectively like a perfect bait, I would say, from TSM. Yeah. And yes, they lose a player, but we're getting towards the business end of the half. We look at their economy; they're all on pretty much the entire team, barring Kerrigan's, over $10,000. So they do not care about that trade-off. They're completely happy with it. With the currency that matters now for TSM is at the top of your scoreboard, which says they're 11-2 ahead, and I'll be very, very happy with that result. Here we go again for EnVyUs. They've had so many chances now to push through on this T side, and they've been battered each and every time. MBK with more aggression through long. I like this, but I feel like maybe this is 5 or 6 rounds too late.
Look at Apex. Look at Apex. He's got the frag, and there was a CT right next to him in middle. Device wasn't able to spot him. He was hidden in the smoke, and Apex got back. Just ran past Device there. And now it is falling apart for TSM. 5v2 coming up. Dupree puts down his foot, but his D-man got disposed of already. Device is down. Dupree is down to 52. This might be a small consolidation for EnVyUs.
Maybe just a drop in the ocean, though. Of course, their CT side is strong. There's no doubting that. But when you're at best case scenario going to have 4 rounds, if you lose the pistol, you're effectively already out. Like that's honestly how terrifying it's going to be if TSM win the next pistol. And that's not even taking into account if they win this round. And again, they've got more than enough funds to just get the full buy up. Apex is pushing aggressively right into the crosshairs of Zipnix and also Carrigan, and they will oblige with the frag. And that's massive. The only reason EnVyUs win that last round, as you called, is Apex pushing mid, getting himself kills. Because it forces TSM to pretty much sparse themselves through mid, go up long, they get picked off from MBK, and from there on in it's easy. This round is anything but.
Yeah, Apex was trying to get that early frag, but he was flashed and then drawn out. Now Kiyoshima makes up for that, but Kerrigan with the straight reply, keeping a man advantage in favor of the CTs. And yeah, I think EnVyUs has spotted a small crack in the armor of TSM. The TSM was able to just wield it together in time, even though Happy will spot another crack, and MBK goes down to Dupree. Now, Dupree is really not sure where to go right now. Should he turn towards the A bomb site or B? And he will stay back inside B, which is the right decision to take right now. KennyS and Happy, both with ops, moving up to the B bomb site. What do you think about that?
I think it's the smart play. I think this is the big play for EnVyUs. This is what they had to do. They've committed to this. Oh, that missed shot is massive. That could cost them the round. Not only because it takes it from a 2v2 to a 2v1, but also because now the terrorists can't both focus mid, and this allows TSM to try and retake the site. There we go. Happy lands it on the second time of asking. All on Cage and B. He's got a smoke and a defuse kit, so he can pull this off with 100 HP and the M4. The issue is there's 2 ops in play. And you're not expecting Happy and KennyS to both miss these opportunities. What a shot that is for occasion. Was that a poor call? I'm not even sure. KennyS looked at doors at first. Does connect the shot, but Jesus. I was scared for him there.
Me too. That was a silencer in play. KennyS didn't know exactly where he was, and I think as soon as the call came through, you could tell that KennyS started to turn after the call came. Or after he realized that there's only one position that his teammate might be killed from in that situation. But still, TSM allow EnVyUs to have the space to maybe not lose a pistol round and the upcoming rounds, but at least lose a pistol and then come back into the game. And while MBK doesn't let the pistol round get away from him, triple kill already opening up the round for EnVyUs, looking for his 4th, will shy away from
super important round that for EnVyUs, who talks about the importance of that pistol. If EnVyUs lose, they've got a foot out of this best of 3. This allows them, though, a chance. And if you have just joined us, by the way, it's currently 1-0 to TSM. After they dismantled EnVyUs 16-9, it could have been a lot worse as well. On Cash, which of course was EnVyUs' choice of map. So much rests on this in the grand finals of CounterPit Season 1. But that being said, EnVyUs win the pistol. They go, of course, for a few M4s and Nova as well, which is interesting. And TSM, because they managed to survive with a couple plays off the start of this round, they have a real chance here. Device though with a team kill, that's massive.
Yeah, that will be a stinging thing, you know, even though it doesn't matter too much right now. It hurts a little bit mentality-wise. Device on the other side might do what you already mentioned, deal some damage to the CTs to get some, you know, some cheeky laughter in there into the squad, just waiting for them to pass by, maybe even get a knife, but I don't think it's going to work. KennyS stays back far enough in middle to have the advantage, and the FAMAS will do its trick. 11-6 now. EnVyUs shut TSM down initially, but it's the Danes' time to make something happen in the upcoming round when they are back on rifles. For this one, they will stay with the P250s and Deagles.
Yeah, this allows that one-click potential again. This is a map that really does suit the longer-range weapons, and Deagle certainly comes into that, like a mini-AWP in a lot of sense. So Cajun B and ZipX with this can definitely make it work. EnVyUs, for me, need to play a bit more passive, because that's the issue. If you go peeking and you lose players, it gives the terrorists a glimmer of hope. That being said, Happy is going to shut down Device and use the player advantage for EnVyUs going forward.
Yeah, and he's still going for those peaks. That's ballsy play by Happy, but maybe not the right moment to do that. Still, I mean, he knew they had the round in the back already, but he might have saved his weapon in that very point in time. He could just backed off and let MBK come in from behind. He was on the way anyway, so no real reason to risk his gun. Doesn't matter too much though. EnVyUs on 7 rounds are closing the gap to TSM, trying to force it into a third map. The Danes have Carrigan on the trigger of the green gun, and he's looking into middle. EnVyUs going for the same setup that TSM went for at the start of the game.
Yeah, pretty standard overall. Maybe a bit of lacking of control in mid, but the way that EnVyUs and TSM play this, that doesn't really surprise me a great deal. You can see that TSM going to be playing your standard round from T's perspective, looking for a pick, looking for some information, then convert that into a bomb plant. EnVyUs playing this one perfectly, so this in a nutshell is Dust 2, ladies and gents. You're not going to see too much action until probably about 30 to 40 seconds left in the round. Unless, of course, a pick comes in. That changes everything.
And then it's a volcano. It just erupts. Let's see if TSM will launch their volcano onto the A bomb site right now. They have 3 players in position, just slowly but surely gaining some map control over there. And yeah, they will probably let Device drop into CT spawn. Maybe they could do that if they really want to pressure the CTs. Now everyone gets pulled together, and that is when Happy comes out of the darkness and takes down one Device with the refrag. And now Kenny S and MBK helping each other out there. Really nice frags by MBK on the spray onto short. Zipix is alone right now, and well, he will not do too much damage to the CTs. 30 round by EnVyUs after TSM just couldn't get those initial advantages. They just went for that A execution and it didn't happen. So, well, on those executions, it's almost 50-50. It just comes down to who hits the shots.
TSM got so baited into that A push as well, though, because I don't think they're expecting 3 players in total to be on A. Happy dies, and they're probably thinking, great, let's push on the site. There's maybe someone in CT. All we have to kill is one more player on the site, and we're good to go. And then suddenly, oh Jesus, this has got a crossfire down. Kenny's still there, and he's just destroying us with MBK. So, forward through into this round, TSM do bag themselves a couple of kills early off, and this is a pretty solid round for them. They didn't really commit a huge amount into this round. They can buy next because of the round loss bonus that's coming in. So I don't want to say it's a throwaway round because they have the Deagles and a bit of Kevlar in the mix, but this is a massive start. Yoshima gets taken down from Cajun. That is B crumbling. It's all on Kenny S. He needs to land this shot right here, right now, and he knows it. He's going to get it through the doors. Are you serious, Kenny? The bomb has been dropped. Cajun B's going in. He's going to pick up the return frag. Now it's all on Kenny S with 13 HP.
Yeah, and the orb in hand, the CZ75 not out yet, and he will go down for that. Cajun B with the quad kill right now. TSM just pushing through middle, getting those frags, not into middle, into the B tunnels, and then getting those frags onto Kiyoshima. There was basically nothing that he could have done differently. Cajun B just on point with the Deagle shots. And after that was unfortunate timing. Kenny has pulled the trigger on the first one, but the second slipped through his fingers, and it was Cajun B with the rifle in hand as well. So that was the end of NBK, who pushed into the B bomb site a little prematurely, in my opinion.
TSM, man, I mean, just when you think that they're starting to slip away, they just bounce back. And what can you do? There's absolutely nothing you can do against these guys when in this kind of form. We thought the same thing in Cash. There's a couple of moments when EnVyUs started to rack a bit of a comeback on the tracks, and then suddenly a Deagle round just crushes them. You're seeing that EnVyUs have gone with somewhat of a half force here, and they've lost the first player, and that's B just being picked up again. The bomb's still in mid, just to make sure that no one gets caught out and drops the bomb in a horrendous position. The bomb will come through to B, will be planted, and TSM will be looking good to pick up their 13-8 here on T's.
Yeah, and we are setting up those exit positions. Apex is running around looking for the frag with the 5-7. But yeah, EnVyUs, that's a huge bummer. They were about to pick up a lot of momentum, and it's just a slap in the face and say, hey mate, we are still around, you better slow down. And suddenly it's back to a 13-8 scoreline and 5 rounds between the two teams. It's going to be really hard for EnVyUs to clutch.
It's going to be rough. I think it's definitely definitely fair to say this is going to be a rough half if EnVyUs want to break this back and get us into that third map. 13-8. EnVyUs' economy is going to be good enough to support a buy. It's not going to be a fantastic buy though. I think it's just going to be a FAMAS on MBK indeed. So they're going to be skimping out on a few grenades. This is a healthier buy than I actually originally expected. I thought maybe they'd have 2 or 3 FAMASes. Instead, they may have to play aggressive as a result of this. Realizing they're... Oh my god.
Wow, that was so well read by Apex. He knew the smoke was there to cover Death Alley and then just went for the spray. Sick.
Oh my god. That's disgusting.
Yeah, and that's how you get back into rounds and also back into games, because you stun them for a second. Then they have to get retaliation, and right now Apex is holding on to middle, going down to dupreeh. However, this opens up middle a slightly bit, but maybe not enough for TSM to squeeze through.
The thing is though, look at the grenades on EnVyUs. They have 1 HE, that's it. So if this bomb does get through onto the site, it's going to be so difficult to retake. That's a pretty crucial frag from Happy, but instantly answers back. MBK has stuck his way around the back and will pick up the frag. Oh, and Zivex will be traded up from dupreeh, but he eats a lot of damage in the process, so he's down to 25. He's got the bomb. He's got an AWP. Things are still possible here, and he's got time. But you feel like EnVyUs should have this round in the bag.
Yeah, they have perfect positions for that as well. Kyoshima hanging out in front of the B bomb site, Happy holding on to A. They have the perfect weapons to support each other as well. dupreeh is looking for the frag, but he'll pick it up as well. 20 seconds now. He needs to go to the B bomb site as quickly as possible, but he slows down. He tries to catch Happy on the way towards the B bomb site. He does miss that first bullet, and dupreeh with another Molotov trying to squeeze him out, but Happy will shut him down with the USP. EnVyUs hold on to this round by a thread.
I'd like to just highlight how smart that play was from dupreeh. He very nearly got that round purely off raw game sense and outthinking Happy. The only downside is he missed the shot. But he throws that Molotov, making it look like he's already pushed to B, baiting it out, realizing the player would probably drop down into CT, had everything set up, the trap was there, ready to be sprung, and then he misses the AWP shot. That was so unfortunate, but so smart at the same time. TSM, however, do lose the round, and EnVyUs now have another chance to bring this back.
Yeah, the Frenchmen are trying to get their hands onto as much money as TSM did in the first half of the second map. But as long as this goes, they are still on the rifles. They are still caught on a FAMAS, for example, and Kyoshima just can't do enough damage onto the pushing terrorists. They will get the refrag, and now they have opened up the B bomb site a little bit, forcing a rotation, a slight rotation by EnVyUs. They are eager to get at least one more man into the B bomb site to cover it as good as possible, and TSM know that they will slow down again, and they will try to find an opening on a different side. And this time around it is MBK having to hold on against Device, who's there working his magic on a shot, pressuring the A bomb site. Zipix just turns back to take out Happy, who got the better of Kerrigan. And it's a 3v3 right now. Kenny S is in position, however, and he will pick off the first one. Now the terrorists are stalling, and the CTs have the time to rotate their players into the back. This should be Apex picking up the kill onto Zipix. It's 13-10. EnVyUs refuse to give up yet, and TSM have to save.
EnVyUs finally stabilizing their economy to a point where they can have a full healthy buy up here, with TSM likely going to be saving this round as well. This is EnVyUs' chance to finally bring us back towards even. That being said, last time I said this, TSM ended up winning the round off a couple of ones. They don't have Deagles this round, but they have a CZ, a Tech 9, and a P250. And if you give them an inch, they will take a mile with these weapons. So EnVyUs, I think we're going to see some respect players coming in here. Indeed they will. This is a standard setup. This is quite a defensive setup. They are going to reap the rewards. Happy with a very smart, nice double kill for him. Bomb will drop. Information gain. And from this point on, it should be smooth sailing for the French. There we go.
Yep. No problem at all. Happy was down to 5. Apex almost died as well, but they were both in positions where they could easily fall back and just get around the corner and save their own life without risking the position. And EnVyUs getting back into this game. TSM, though, they have, compared to EnVyUs, they have kind of not a real recipe, but they have methods to break the CT's positions, and they have figured them out earlier. Now they have to reshape them a little bit because EnVyUs adapted to them. So it is up to TSM to kind of invent themselves in a different way and try to get something different on the board to surprise EnVyUs and to throw them off. And it's not only up to individual skill, but also due to the execution. And Kerrigan is somebody that's very good at fragging and at the same time calling for his teammates. But they will go for another A-short execution. This is going to be a round that we already saw already. Let's see if TSM will stick to the plan, though. Still 1 minute, a little bit early to really call an execution yet.
Well, the thing is, at this kind of level of play, I would say this is the most frequently seen tactic on T side of Dust 2 is the push through catwalk. Especially when you have players that can fend off the long push very well, and mid's not really yielding anything for you. But the issue is, therefore, you run into KennyS and 2 frags in the head. He's in a repeat, picks up a third. He's hungry for a fourth. He's not going to land it, but it doesn't matter because Happy is there, waiting in the shadows. And KennyS take a bow. That was beautiful AWPing. And just like that, EnVyUs bring it back to a round deficit and potentially put TSM into another eco.
Yeah, that's the point in time when TSM feel the pressure as well, and that's when EnVyUs starts rolling downhill and they just get momentum for free, just picking up those rounds, picking up triple kills here and there. Now they are up against another weak buy slash save by TSM. They go for Tech 9s and some armor, and EnVyUs is not shying away anymore. They know that they can take it right now, and if they get this round on the board, TSM has to be scared, to be honest.
Well, they'll be feeling the pressure already, I think. Yeah, absolutely. Because, of course, they finished the first half 11-4 up. You're thinking, okay, this isn't an 11-4 kind of map. You know, it's much more even than that. Some people even think that it's slightly T-sided, depending on who you ask. So they will definitely be feeling the pinch right now. And KennyS, he's feeling it, dude. He's feeling really good right about now. He's landing shots left, right, and center. It's an eco bash, of course. But still, the frags that he's landing, pretty sick flick shots. 13-13 TSM will be able to buy themselves up an AWP plus AKs, but they're running out of time now. They're running out of rounds to pull off the plays, and it's 5 in a row to EnVyUs.
Yeah, whereas at the start of this half, it was, you know, 4 rounds in a row for the CTs and then 2 for the terrorists. So we ended up in a 13-9. And now EnVyUs got themselves another long streak on the CT side. And TSM know if we give another round away to EnVyUs, they could kick it off again and get an even longer streak, and then they will win the game. So TSM have no room for error anymore. They have no room to try anything different out. They have to go for the plays that they know will work, or at least think that they will wield the best result. They can't fool around anymore. They can't go for some crazy stuff anymore. Or maybe they will even go for the crazy stuff we've seen.
Well, I like that they're trying to get some mid control, but this is also kind of half a fake because the bomb's traveling up catwalk. They also put a lot of emphasis down on long to start off with. So you can see that EnVyUs instantly decide to back away onto long. This gives up the initial control from Cajun B spot, or KennyS has been using this as well up on the car. This at least gets them across. That is so smart from TSM. It's like a game of chess, really. Just trying to put your enemy in the position that gives you the best results. And they have managed to pick up this round more than likely. The fact that EnVyUs are already backing off in the sense of Kiyoshima on B signifies this is going to be 14-13. I can't stress enough how smart that round was from TSM. Poking and probing EnVyUs, forcing them into positions that make them weaker, and then executing onto the site. Very, very smart.
Yeah, and was just a contact push or sneak into middle and short at the same time, and then they realized, okay, wait, we have safe passage towards A from CT spawn, something that you really rarely see in the pro scenes. Usually there's at least one player watching one angle or even 2 angles that will reveal the terrorist position, or at least he will hear them or anything. But TSM just pushed through middle into A, and well, I expected EnVyUs to go for a full retake, to have everyone in the position and then call the retake, but they pushed in one by one. KennyS was in A long already, and him not getting the frag kind of lost the round for EnVyUs already, because TSM had control over long, they had control over short, they had a lot of control over CT spawn, and it made it very, very, very hard for EnVyUs to get back into the round.
Yeah, I agree. I think Kenny S would be the key integral part of that retake. And as soon as he dies, that's the thing. He's been feeling the confidence, right? He's been landing some sick flick shots. This is what I was talking about before. I think his hubris, his pride, his confidence got him killed, really. He went peeking by himself, he dies, and as you say, from there on in, the retake crumbles. That being said, there's Device, lands the shot onto Apex. We've seen this before. And TSM instantly rotating towards B, but EnVyUs, they're not falling for this. Kenny S is there, and he's landed the shot as well.
Yeah, he needs to land a few more, though, if he wants his team to win the round. And there is another one before he goes down to Device. Sipix, in the meantime, taking out Kiyoshima. And Dupree is in middle, waiting for the CTs. Happy takes him out, and his teammate already is there. Happy down to low HP, but Device and Zipnik still kicking for the terrorist. Device in a bad position, flashes himself out there. And now it's just down to the time. Happy needs to find a kill and expose himself to Zipix. Zipix is still not going for the peak, but the time is running out. And we have a bug there in CT spawn. There is not actually anyone standing. But yeah, the bomb blows up in the meantime. Zipix wins the round for TSM. And it was very smart play by Device to just stay in the corner, not go for the duel, and just win the round by letting the time tick down.
Exactly, that's it. Sacrificing his own life for the greater good. Very, very smart. Misses the first shot. Realizes after that, okay, my work here is pretty much just bait. Now, that puts EnVyUs in a position. They have to win the next 2 rounds to take us to overtime, or they will be losing out in the grand finale here. Apex has spotted himself a player up on catwalk. That smoke stops the initial charge. But that flashbang and then the entry frag from Karrakin is pixel perfect. EnVyUs, with 2 players down, have to spread themselves thin. They realize this is a long push. This is doable from them, but that trade is not going to help matters at all.
2v4 already, the bomb on its way. It's going to be planted in a second. Kenny S and Kiyoshima need to stay up and stand up for the squad. Kenny S is now alone. He will pick up 1, but that's not enough. Dupree makes it 16-13 in favor of TSM. So congratulations to the Danish squad for winning the CounterPit League. And $23,000 on top of that one.
Deserved winners as well, man. That performance on Cash in particular really caught me off guard. It was fantastic. It was unbelievable, honestly. And then the CT performance on Dust 2 was near enough flawless for the first, I would say, 8 or 9 rounds. It started to slip towards the end. EnVyUs started to wake up. But I think after an 11-4 half, it's asking a lot to bounce back fully. And that ended up pretty much costing them the second map. TSM showed up today. Device in particular, for me, is my MVP. I think he was consistently the best player over the 2 maps. He was an absolute beast. And, well played to TSM in the end.
Definitely. And it also proves the point that the scene is so close right now. I'm EnVyUs, just trading maps with Fnatic and Virtus Pro, and then TSM is in there as well. And all of them just keep trading blows back and forth. TSM, EnVyUs, Virtus Pro, and Fnatic, definitely the top for me. And, yeah, I mean, we have a few really good contestants for the 4th spot, but nobody really knows who's in the 4th spot right now.
That's the thing with CS, right? It evolves. Certain players start to hit peak form. Some have dips. Just look at teams like VP. You know, they're so inconsistent when it comes to online matches, even LANs as well to an extent. But if they show up, they are nigh on impossible to beat, and we've seen that recently. So yeah, I agree. I think when you come towards the top 4 or 5 teams, it's very difficult to distinguish, you know, between the top 3 and the next 2. EnVyUs and TSM certainly up there. Off this performance, TSM have been in absolutely great form. EnVyUs, I will say, were a bit off the mark on Cash in particular. I don't think they ever really got rolling on their choice of map, and that's what ended up costing them so big in the end.
Yeah, and on top of that, they never really got TSM into any economical pressure or problems on the first half on Dust 2, which you were able to tell that the CTs were feeling the pressure throughout the second half all the time, because they were about to save, they had FAMASs, maybe no armor on this and that player. And on the other side, TSM were never in the same position on the first half. They were so comfortably rolling around with 3 scopes. I mean, 2 orbs and the autoscope, and that maintained that for, I think it was 5-6 rounds even. that's a lot of economy for them.
Yeah, I think a lot of that can be credited to the shot calling in that game for TSM. As we said before, their nades were absolutely on point. They were clearly firing on all cylinders, feeling pretty good about things, you know, coming through with the executions as well on the T side were pretty solid, especially on Cash. I just think we saw TSM today showing what they're capable of, and they've had a weird month or two, I would say, where they've had like dips and slumps, but then they've had certain games that kind of step out as being like ridiculous again. I think for them, if they can just land a bit of consistency, you know, going through into majors and such, they're a real contender to win, like any land that they're at. That's how good I think TSM actually are. I know a lot of people would agree with that statement. EnVyUs are another team like that, but today we honestly didn't see them anywhere near the same level as TSM. I'm not sure if their shot calling was off. Apex had a slow game. I think it's safe to say on Dust 2, he didn't really show up for the first 10 or 11 rounds. And these are key rounds when you look at Dust 2. We stressed the importance of starting well on Dust 2, and TSM started fantastically. They were like 8-1 ahead, I think, at one point. So that's huge for them.
Yeah. And I think there's, even for Virtus.pro would have been hard to come back.
Yeah, I honestly feel that the way TSM were playing today, they'd have beat pretty much anybody. They were just fantastic. And even though Kenny S, towards the end, was playing like a god with his AWP, still didn't matter because their executions were so good. They played him out of the park, basically.
Yeah, it comes back to the thing that we said at the start with, if you have one or two individuals performing really well against a team that consists out of 5 really well-performing players already, it's going to be really hard for you to carry a team. I mean, carrying is definitely possible, but not against a team that is on point like TSM was today.
Mm-hmm. Especially on maps like Cash and Dust 2, because they're maps where, especially from an AWPer's perspective, if the enemy team has solid smokes and flashbangs, it completely neutralizes you. You can't be shooting through smokes and flashbangs every single time landing the opening picks. So what you saw there from Kenny S is he was landing the shots when they're available to him, but by and large he was blind for those maps. And he had very little information to go off, and that's purely off the basis of how well TSM were playing.
Yeah, the grenades definitely changed his game, I think. And I think we can... do you have anything else to say right now about this game?
So I think we covered pretty much everything. TSM deserved winners.
Yeah. I think the Danes just showed their superiority on the CT side again.
Yeah, both maps they had solid CT sides. So I think I definitely agree with that.
Yeah. So we thank you guys for tuning in, not only today, but also for the other games in the league, for the online, for the group stages especially, and then also for the playoffs. You've been an amazing crowd to cast. I've had the pleasure to cast a few times already. Medus, what do you think about the crowd today?
Oh, awesome. Although there's a lot of spam, as you can see right now, but it's always nice to cast in front of plenty of people. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the casting, or if you have any feedback on like how we can improve, you can hit me up at MetThisTV on Twitter. What's your Twitter, Dabu? Is it Dabu TV?
Dabu TV, yeah.
Cool. So if you want to hit us up on Twitter, let us know what you thought about the casting. If there's anywhere we can improve, then by all means go for that. I think that's going to do it for us though now, isn't it?
Indeed, it does. I will play one more song to close the stream with some music, and after that I will close it. So thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to tune in to the next season of the CounterPit League. We crown TSM the champions, and they go home with $23,000. All brought to you by our humble partners, Twitch, Sapphire, Vulcan, AMD, and Sennheiser. So that's it for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. See you next season. I'm the Boo from Germany, and Medus already took off. As you might have heard, he is a little bit sick, so he has to get well as soon as possible. And yeah, we thank you for tuning in. See you next time around.